Hey, what's up guys? So just before this video starts, I just do want to say that my game Bodhi and Friends is out now on both Steam and itch.io, so if you want to, be sure to go buy it and try it out for yourselves, and you know, your support would mean a lot. And yeah, now let's get right into the tutorial. Hey, what's up guys, Omogonix here and welcome back to a brand new Unity tutorial here on the channel. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a weeping angel in Unity using C# with animations. So as you can see here, we've just got this basic capsule, and I've already got the script attached to it because this weeping angel is one I made in an older tutorial, and I'm going to be using this weeping angel in the older tutorial I made as like a basis for this new tutorial. So what I'm going to be doing in this tutorial is I'm going to be adding in like a character model that I have. I forget which folder I have it in here now, but it's in one of these folders, and also I have an animation for it. If you remember my tutorial on how to make like a AI that follows you around in Unity using C#, I'm going to be using the same character model and running animation I used from that. And what's going to happen is, so how this weeping angel works, right, is whenever you're looking at it, it doesn't move, and then when you look away, it moves towards you, and then when it gets close enough, it will then jump scare you. Well, what we're going to be doing in this tutorial is we're going to be adding in the character model and the running animation, and we'll also be making like a jump scare animation as well. So when you're looking at the weeping angel, what will happen is the animation will pause and won't play, and then when you're looking away, the running animation will play again, and then when you look towards it, it will then pause. And then when the AI gets close enough, it will then eventually jump scare you, and the jump scare animation will play. So yeah. So I do suggest that if you haven't watched my last tutorial on how to do a basic weeping angel in Unity, I do suggest that you do watch that before watching this tutorial. But in case you can't be bothered, or you just don't want to for some reason, or you just haven't and you just want to watch this tutorial, I will be teaching you guys like sort of the basics of how this works, so be sure to stick around for that. And yeah, so if this tutorial does help you out, be sure to like, comment and subscribe for more, and let's get right into it. So first up, of course, I'm going to teach you guys the basics of how this weeping angel script works in case you haven't seen it yet and you weren't around for the last tutorial. So let's just open up that script now. So as you can see here, I've already got like a bunch of comments throughout the script to like help you guys, and so then you know more about what's going on here if you want like to, you know, reference this or anything for when you're doing your own scripting. So the first variable we have here is a public navmesh agent. Now navmesh agents, they're like used for AIs, and this navmesh agent variable in particular I've just called AI, and as you can see as by the comment up here, it says the AI's navmesh agent, so that's what this is. And then we have a public transform variable called player, so as you can see here from this comment, this is the player's transform. And then we have a vector-free variable called dest, and then what this is this is the AI's destination, so where the AI will move towards. And then we have public camera variables for the player cam and the jump scare camera. Now, as you can see here from this comment, basically this is just what I said, the player's camera and the AI's jump scare camera. And then you have a public float for the AI speed, so this is the AI's movement speed. And then you have a public float for the catch distance. And for those who don't know what a float is, right, so in Unity, how numbers are referred to is through like floats, doubles, and integers, and I think there might be a few others as well, but they're like the main three that I know about. I usually just use floats and ints. Ints is like the shortened term for integer. And so basically what integers are is they're just like whole numbers, and then floats are numbers with decimal points. So I like to use floats since if I want to get an AI speed of like say 3.5, then I could do that. Whilst with an integer, I wouldn't be able to do 3.5, I'd only be able to do like 3 or 4, you know, like whole numbers. So yeah, that's what floats are, they're like decimal point numbers basically. So yeah. So here we have a public float for the catch distance. Now, this is the distance in which the AI can catch the player from. And then I have a public float variable for the jump scare time, and this is the amount of seconds it takes for the AI's jump scare to finish. And then we have a public string, so a string that's basically like some text, so you enter some text into this field, and that will be the scene that the player loads into after dying, so that's what scene after death is. And so here we have a void update. Now the update void, as you can see from this comment, says the update void, stuff occurs every frame in this void, so voids are basically just like functions. And then here we have this right here, so what we're doing is we're generating a plane variable called planes, and then it says geometry utility.calculate frustum planes, and then the player cam. So what this is doing, right, is it's basically getting the frustum planes of the player's camera. Now, what the frustum planes are, for those who don't know, I'll show you guys an example. So here we have the player's camera, right? Now, the frustum planes are this right here. So if you see all this, these like lines and stuff like that that are part of the camera, I'm pretty sure that these here are like the frustum planes, and this here is like the near plane, and then that there is like the far plane. So the plane which is closest to the camera, so this little rectangle right here, this here is the near plane, and then that there is like this massive, you know, thing here. This is the far plane. So yeah, that's what the frustum planes are, if I'm correct. And if the Weeping Angel is within the player cam's frustum planes, then that means it won't be able to move. And then if it's no longer in the player's frustum planes, then it will be able to move. So yeah, that's how that works. So for those who don't know what the player camera's frustum planes are, that's what they are. And basically what this does here is it calculates the frustum planes of the player camera. So then here we have a distance variable, with a float distance variable, which is being generated, and it says vector3.distance, transform.position, and then player.position. So what this does is it gets the distance between the player and the Weeping Angel. So the Weeping Angel is just referred to as transform.position, since this script is attached to the Weeping Angel, and so it will just get the transform of whatever, you know, object it's attached to. And yeah, so that's what that does. Distance will basically equal to the distance between the player and the Weeping Angel. So yeah. And so if geometry.utility, geometry utility.test planes, AA, BB, and then all this planes, and then this .gameObject.get component renderer.bounds, you might be thinking, what the hell does that mean? So what that means is if the Weeping Angel's renderer is being seen by the player cam's frustum planes, then the AI speed will equal to 0, and the AI's destination will be set to itself, transform.position. So yeah, that's what that means. So yeah, if the AI is in the player's camera view, that's basically what that means right here. I know it seems a bit confusing for beginners, but yeah, so basically, I'll just explain quickly again to explain a bit easier. So if the renderer component of the Weeping Angel is being seen, so if it's in the view of the player's camera, then the AI speed will be set to 0, and then the AI's destination will be set to itself. So yeah. And then here we have the exact same line again, except it has an exclamation mark out the front of it. Now you might be thinking, what does that mean? Well, what the exclamation mark usually means in coding is not. So if the Weeping Angel's renderer component is not being seen by the camera, then the AI speed will equal to AI speed, and then the destination will equal to the player's position, and then the AI's destination will equal to destination, so the player's position. And then if the distance of now what distance is I just explained it up here, it's the distance between the player and the Weeping Angel. So if distance is less than equal to catch distance, so if the AI is close enough to the player in which they're able to catch them, then the player will be set false, the jump scare camera will be set to true, and then a coroutine will start called kill player. Now in the kill player coroutine, so I enumerator kill player, So what will happen is after the jump scare time, so yield return new wait for seconds jump scare time, so after the amount of time that's entered into the jump scare time variable, a scene will load, and basically this will be scene after death, so the scene that you want to load into after dying. And yeah, that's pretty much how the script works. Something else that's important as well is you want to make sure at the top of your script you have using Unity Engine.ai, so then we can use the navmesh agent in script, and then using Unity Engine.scene management, so then we can load into a new scene after dying, and then yeah. So once you're done with your script, what you want to do is on your Weeping Angel, so you don't have to use a capsule if you don't want to, since, you know, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do animations in this tutorial today, but, you know, yeah, you guys will get what I mean. So basically, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a navmesh agent component on your Weeping Angel. So you just want to go on, so you just want to click on your Weeping Angel, and then you want to go add component, and then you type in navmesh agent, and then you just add a navmesh agent on, and then boom, your AI will have a navmesh agent. And then once you add your navmesh agent to your AI, you might need to change up its radius and height and whatever. You can do all that sort of stuff if you want to. And then what you'll also want to do is you'll want to add your Weeping Angel script to your Weeping Angel, and then apply the variables. So you want to add in the you want to apply the navmesh agent, so that's basically just your Weeping Angel. You just apply that in there, and then the player variable is your player, and then your player camera, and then the jump scare camera of your Weeping Angel. So you would have like a jump scare camera attached to your Weeping Angel. And then the AI speed, you set to whatever you like, the catch distance, the jump scare time, and then you enter in the name of the scene you want to load into after death as well. And then boom, that should be pretty much it, I think, for the AI, and yeah. So anyways, now that I've got the basics of the Weeping Angel script out of the way, how about now we start getting into the animations of the Weeping Angel, since that's what I'm going to be showing you guys mainly how to do today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that character model of mine that I'm going to use as an example for this tutorial. Here they are. So basically, here we have this character model. This is actually in a game I'm making called Flesh Simulator at the moment, which will be coming out on Steam as part of a body horror game collection being published by Bloody Vulpine. So if you want to go wishlist that, you can. There's a bunch of other developers involved as well, not just myself. There's other developers too. I'm just making one game for this collection, but yeah. So anyways, here we have the quote-unquote Weeping Angel. This will just be the example player model that I'm using. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to like replace this capsule with this model, and how I'm going to do that is I'm basically just going to make this model here a child object of the Weeping Angel. So I'm just going to find that. Here it is. So this capsule here on the hierarchy is what my Weeping Angel is. I'm just going to make this character model now a child object of that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm then going to position it right, so then it's like basically in the same position of that capsule. And then what I'm going to do is I'm then going to lastly turn off the mesh renderer on this capsule, and boom. So the reason as to why I'm going to be turning off the mesh renderer on this as well is because I won't be using the mesh renderer of the capsule anymore for this Weeping Angel. I'm going to be actually using the mesh renderer that's part of this character model, so yeah. Alright, so the next thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be scaling this character model a bit, since it is a bit large. I'm just going to like scale it down a bit, so then it's a bit smaller perhaps. Maybe something like 0.7 on all the axes. Yeah, that seems alright. So yeah, this seems like a good size for our Weeping Angel. Alright, so now that we have this Weeping Angel character model in, what I'm going to be doing now is the animations. So as you can see here, I've already got a few animations here, which I will be using for this Weeping Angel. I won't be using the idle animation. I might use that as like a basis for the jump scare animation, but all we'll really need is like a movement animation for the, you know, movement of the AI. We won't need an idle animation at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this animation to my character model, and let's see how that goes. And boom, as you can see now, he has a running animation. So yeah. Now, if you guys want to make your own animations, how you do that is you just select your character model, and then you go Window, Animation, and then Animation. And then what that will do is it should bring up like a window, so then you can actually, it should be this window right here, the animation window. And basically what you can do is you can then drag that down to here if it's not already, you know, open down here. And then boom, you can have like an animation tab just like I have, and then you can make your own animations and stuff. To make animations, what you do is you just click this little drop down menu here, and then you go create new clip. And then when recording animations, you press this red button, and then you do whatever changes you want to make. Like, let's say for example, at some point in this animation, I want the character model to like go up like that or something, you know, I can do that if I want to, although it looks a bit funny here because this character model, it has mix ammo animations, and pretty much almost like every little tiny frame of this thing has like, you know, all the components of it already animated. So yeah, it's not getting the exact example result of what I want here, but you guys can sort of see what I mean. Like the part that I just moved up before in that exact frame is, you know, there. So yeah, that's basically how you record animations. And then if you want to stop recording, you just press that red button there again. And so yeah, that there is my jogging animation. Now what I'm going to do is I'm then going to do a jump scare animation. Now I was going to use the idle animation as like a basis for that, but I think I'll just completely create a new clip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the drop down menu here, and then I'm going to go create new clip. And then I'm just going to call this jump scare. And so here we have the jump scare animation. So I'm going to start recording this. And then what I'm going to do is at the start of this animation, oh, wait a second. Something I should do as well, by the way guys, if you want to like animate your jump scare camera into your jump scare, make sure that your jump scare camera is a child object of whatever you're animating. So by the way guys, if you want to know how to unpack something as a prefab, I'm going to show how to do this since I can't actually add my jump scare camera as a child object of this. Oh wait, no I could. Huh. Funny. I don't know what's going on right now, but yeah, so basically if you want to unpack prefabs as well, you just right click, go prefab and unpack, and basically what this will allow you to do is it will allow you to basically like make changes to your prefab, because if you try to remove like an object or something from your prefab, you'll have like a message popping up saying that you can't do it because it's a prefab. So if you want to unpack your prefab so you can make changes to your models or whatever, or, you know, group new objects into them, then yeah, you just right click and then you unpack it as a prefab. So what I was trying to say before was, if you want to animate your jump scare camera to your character model, make sure that your jump scare camera is a child object of whatever like parent object of your weeping angel has like the animation component on it, because otherwise it won't be animated into it. So yeah, so now that my jump scare camera is a child object of my character model, I can now record it into the animation. So at the start of this jump, oh wait, I'm accidentally recording the over the jog animation. There we go, back to the jump scare one. So at the start of this animation, the jump scare camera is going to turn on, boom. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like the camera shake around and do some quick little shaky movements, and, you know, maybe rotate it and stuff like that. And you can see in the bottom right here the sort of view that the jump scare camera has. So yeah, I'm just looking at that as I animate. You know, just do some random shaky movements or whatever for the jump scare camera. Might even like zoom out the FOV a bit, and or zoom it in and stuff like that, you know, just random little things. And so yeah, you can sort of see in like the bottom right hand corner there, there's sort of like a weird little animation going on there. And then what I'm going to do to like loop it around is I'm going to then copy so I'm going to go Control C, I'm going to select. So what I've done is I've selected the every like keyframe of the start of the animation right now. I've pressed Control C, and then at the end towards here, I'm then just going to go Control V to then make the animation loop. So as you can see here, the jump scare camera is basically just like looping and stuff. Now you can animate your character if you want to, of course, but I'm just going to be animating the jump scare camera as an example for this tutorial. So yeah, so this here is just going to be my jump scare animation. And yeah, so now I'm going to stop recording. And then what I'm going to do is I'm then going to select the parent object of the character model, which has the animator component attached to it. And then what you want to do is you then want to go Window, Animation, and then Animator. And now I'm not going to click on this since I already have the Animator window here. So what you want to do is you want to open up the Animator window, and then it will basically open up the Animator of your character model's animations if you have your character model selected. And then what you want to do is you then want to create a new trigger. So you want to make sure, so when you first open up the animator window, it might be on the layers tab first. You want to make sure that you switch to parameters. And then you want to click on this plus icon and then go trigger. And then just write jump scare. Oh, I accidentally just wrote jump scare. I meant to write jump scare. There we go. And then I'm going to click on the jog animation here, and then I'm going to right click, go make transition, and then I'm going to click on this jump scare animation. And then I'm going to click on this transition arrow that I just created, and then I'm going to untick has exit time. And then I'm going to click on this plus icon here under the conditions, and then I'm going to make sure that it's set to the jump scare trigger. So what this is going to do is when we want our character model to jump scare the player, the jump scare trigger will set and then the jump scare animation will happen. So yeah, that's how that works. And yeah, that's pretty much the character's animations all set up now. And yeah. Alright, so now that I'm done implementing the character model and its animations, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the Weeping Angel script and I'm going to make some changes to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a new variable called public animator. And what this will be is it will get the and what this will be doing is it will be getting the animator of the AI, so we're going to call this AI anim, since it's going to get our Weeping Angel's animator. And then what I'm going to do is down here, when the AI is being seen by the camera, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go AI anim dot speed equals 0. So then the AI's animator speed is at 0. So basically what this does is it pauses the AI's animator, and then when the AI or the Weeping Angel, whatever you want to call it, is no longer being seen by the player's camera, the AI's animator speed will be set to 1, so now the animator will be unpaused and then the jog animation will continue playing. And yeah, that's pretty much nearly all of the scripting for that. Now down here, what we're going to do is, so when the player is jump scared by the AI, we're going to go AI anim dot set trigger, and then what we're going to do is we're going to set that jump scare trigger we made before in the animator. So yeah, and then basically that's it. So the new parts of the script here, right, when the AI is being seen by the camera, so when it's being seen by the player's camera, the speed of the AI's animator will be set to 0, so it pauses the AI's animation. And then whenever the player is no longer looking at the Weeping Angel, the AI's animation will be set to, its speed will be set to 1, so then it will unpause. And then when the player is caught by the Weeping Angel, the AI's animator will have the jump scare trigger set, so then the jump scare animation plays, and then boom, that's it. And then you just want to save and exit back into the Unity editor, and then just wait for your script to, you know, compile and stuff like that. And boom, now that should all work. So what I'm going to do is, now what you'll need to do is you'll now need to fill in the empty AI anim variable with your character models, so with your Weeping Angel character models animator, so I'm just going to apply that. And then boom, now I can test this out and see how if it works as intended. Alrighty, so here we have our Weeping Angel. And as you can see, he is moving towards me, and the jog animation is pausing whenever I look at him. So he is changing his pose whenever I look away, so that's good to know. And yeah, this seems to be working as intended. As you guys can see, his jog animation pauses whenever I'm not looking at him. And yeah, yep, this is working pretty good. Nice. Now, something else that I want to say as well is just to give you guys an extra tip. So with a lot of character models, right, let's say for example you have a character model with a skinned mesh renderer. Now, when it comes to character models with skinned mesh renderers, they will have what's called bounds, and the bounds of these mesh renderers, which is basically this like white outlining here, this is what's considered like the view of the skinned mesh renderer. So as you can see, my player model, well not my player model, sorry, the character model of this Weeping Angel's mesh renderer bounds is a bit large in my opinion, so if you want to edit them bounds, you actually can. You can either select update when off screen, so you can tick that, and then it sort of just always updates the mesh renderer bounds, so then they're pretty exact to where they should be. Either that, or if you want to customize them yourself, what you can do is you can click here on this icon and edit the bounds manually yourself. So once you click on that, you should have these dots which appear in the middle of the bounds, and then you can basically just move them. And yeah, so this will basically be these outlines here for the skinned mesh renderer are basically the outlines of which is considered like when the player is looking at the object or not. Now, with normal mesh renderers, you don't need to worry about this, since I'm pretty sure all the bounds are already calculated for that. But with skinned mesh renderers in particular, you can actually set the bounds yourself. And yeah. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly test out the AI again and test out its jump scaring to see if that all works fine. Alright, let's get jump scared by this thing in a few seconds. And, well, that wasn't very intended. I might need to fix up something there. Hold on, guys. I think there's something that I need to fix up. Okay, guys, so I have a bit of a theory as to why that jump scare animation might not be fully playing, and what I think it might have to do with is because somehow the Weeping Angel is still being detected by the player camera or something like that, and perhaps the AI's animator speed is being set to 0 because of that. So what I'm going to do to test that theory is, in this line of code here, so when the player is looking at the Weeping Angel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go if player dot game object dot active equal to true. So if the player is equal to true, and then what's going to happen is if the player object is active, then the AI animation speed will be set to 0. So only if the player is active will the AI animation be set to 0. If the player is disabled, like when it gets jump scared, then this will no longer be the case. Now, something else that I've actually been told in the comments of my videos is that apparently, and not just in the comments of my videos, but also on like my Discord server and stuff, is people say that they have an issue with player.gameObject.active for some reason. Now, that's actually not a problem. I know what you're referring to. Basically, there's like a little error thing saying like, oh, that it's obsolete. That doesn't mean that it doesn't work, that just means that it's obsolete. If you guys do want to use another method of doing this, however, I'm pretty sure there's another one called .ActiveSelf. So I think you can also use this as well, I believe, something like that. You guys can do a bit of research into it if you want to, but this does work too, doing it this way, but I just thought I'd bring it up the other way as well, just in case you want to do it the other way, just to be safe. But yeah, this does work for anyone who does wonder. And yeah, so now let's go back into the scene. You just want to make sure you save and exit. And boom. So now when we're done with that, I'm now going to test it out once again, and hopefully that is all fixed. So here we have our AI. It's gonna move towards us slowly but steadily. And boom, now it plays. So yeah, it turns out that that was actually the issue and we just fixed it. Something I forgot to mention in this tutorial is that when loading into a new scene, like let's say for example your player dies and they load into another scene, like a death scene or something like that, you'll want to make sure that you go File and then Build Settings, and then here you'll have this like build, and then here you'll have like this Scenes in Build section. And what you want to do is you want to add any scene that's like in your game basically into this Scenes in Build section, so then if you are loading into another scene, then you will load into that scene, because otherwise there'll be an issue where you won't be able to load into it. So yeah, just quickly wanted to say that. Alrighty guys, so that there is the end of this tutorial. If you did enjoy or you did learn something new, then be sure to like, comment and subscribe for more. But again guys, hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll be sure to see you all in the next one. Bye bye.